Hey, welcome everyone to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. As we start to get ramped back up into the fall season, booking business may be on your mind. I'm pretty sure it is. Get your pen and paper or your voice notes app out because the amazing Jennifer Darling is back to tell us exactly how she and her clients leverage LinkedIn to book more business. Welcome back to the show, Jennifer.
Hello, Jane. I'm so glad to be here. Woo woo.
I'm happy to have you back because I know that you are going to give us a plethora of great information that people can go and use immediately. Now, before we do that, if you didn't see Jennifer and my first podcast, if you haven't listened to that yet, go back to making your LinkedIn profile pop. You can actually go out to speakerlauncher.com and click on podcasts and search anybody. Just put in Jennifer and you'll see it. Making your LinkedIn profile pop. You need that as level one of what we're going to talk about today. Tell everybody, Jennifer, what your current business model looks like.
Yeah, so I call it a hybrid business model. And I
Okay.
call it hybrid because I do coaching, consulting, training, and speaking. And that means that sometimes I might speak for free to groups who are my ideal clients, who might be my coaching and consulting clients.
Right.
And other times I get paid to speak, keynoting or breakouts for people who maybe are my ideal clients, but they could also be a different type of client who's not going to be naturally booking me for coaching or consulting.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, and on this show, we try to expose everyone to lots of different business models. And I have to say, having done some coaching work with you before, it works. You're
Yeah.
building the business that's perfect for you. What did you discover during COVID?
Yeah, well, what I discovered during COVID was in January of 2020, I was going to have my best year ever of paid speaking engagements. And
Yes.
just like every other speaker who's listening to this podcast, is that by March 2020, that all went up in smoke. And I was laying in my bed, depressed for a couple of weeks, asking myself, what in the world can I do to support the business community? And so I came out and I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give away my best training that I have, which is my LinkedIn training. And I started offering 4 deep dive weeks of how to use LinkedIn to promote your business. In the very first month I did that, I actually made $10,000 in sales. So I went from $0 offering a free class to having $10,000 in sales in April.
Yeah, that's funny that you did that because meanwhile over here, Chris West said to me, "Hey Jane, I think people need to hear us. Need to hear from experts in the industry right now." And I agreed with him to do a brand camp. And so
Mm.
we put on a 4 week brand camp. And during that time, I had set an impossible goal because I was listening to my coach, Brooke Castillo, talk about mindset and what we needed to get through what we were going through. And so I set what I thought was a ridiculous like number, $50,000 I was going to earn in 4 weeks. Yeah, right, is what I'm thinking as I'm setting this impossible goal. And it must have been due to brand camp that it just happened. Boof. Like
Mm.
I couldn't believe it. Now, honestly, it wouldn't have happened in week one for me because I was not even present on that call. I was still curled up in the fetal position on the bed like you were at the
All
beginning.
right.
But once I kicked in, it was amazing. So another plug for, serving and finding opportunity during whatever is going on.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about a recession coming and what have you.
Yeah.
You know what? What I see is opportunity. We
Yeah.
can
Me too.
we can do hard things and we can do this and I see
Yeah.
opportunity.
Ooh, you just gave me chills.
Yay! We can do hard things. Okay, so your business model is one that really it kind of has uh, LinkedIn built to the top of the umbrella, but you're really good at selling. And I want people to hear from you. What do you do before, during, and after a presentation in order to book more business. So we could even dive into,
Mhm.
to get the business in the first place, but I think this will keep us on track if we talk about before, during, and after. And you're out speaking, and so you can
Yeah,
do this
yeah,
firsthand.
yeah, absolutely. And people call me a LinkedIn expert, but I don't see myself that way. I am a sales professional who uses LinkedIn for sales and marketing.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm coming at this from a sales angle, and my background is actually 20 years working for television stations and advertising sales and sales management.
Mm.
So, you're not going to hear these tips from anyone else. I'm the only person who talks about LinkedIn who has an television and digital advertising background experience. So, what I'm telling you today is coming from the big promotional background that I have. And what I know for sure is that the number one place to get a speaking engagement is the speaking engagement that you're at.
Okay. The number one place, you heard it here first, people. You might have heard it before.
No, you probably heard it from Jane before, I'm sure.
Number one place to get a speaking engagement is the speaking engagement that you're at. The way we say that is there is no better form of marketing than a great presentation. Okay.
Excellent.
Right.
Excellent. Yep.
So doing a great job, but you're kind of coming at it from these before, during, and after
Mhm.
ideas that really takes what I just said to a totally new level because you're doing very intentional marketing. Okay, so you've
Yes.
got a gig booked for September in Anaheim. What do we do beforehand to start to grease up the wheels?
Yes. So I'm going to say this first is that you cannot do this for every single speaking engagement because it might be overwhelming. Do this one for the best opportunities that you have. And
Okay.
I just booked my biggest ever speaking engagement doing these things I'm about to tell you. So the first part is the before.
Okay.
So when you get booked for a speaking engagement, there are a few things that you can do in advance of that speaking engagement. The first one is you can go to LinkedIn and you can start to promote the speaking engagement on LinkedIn. Now, what does that look like? That might be a post that you make telling people you're really excited to go to, let's just say, I'm going to be speaking at the Indiana Apartment Association, and I'd like to get more engagements with apartment associations. So I'm going to say, I'm really excited to be speaking for the Indiana Apartment Association. And then I'm going to go look at their website. I'm going to find the link for their event. I'm going to talk a little bit about their event and what I'm speaking about. And I'm going to tag the people who hired me.
Mm. You're like their,
Everyone loves promotion.
you're like their hype girl. I love this. I love this. Now, let's do a little caveat because there are going to be speakers at some kind of higher levels of exposure who might actually build that in as a part of their package. Ryan and Kendra, they have 30,000 followers plus on Instagram. And so they might actually include that in their highest level package that we're going to actually
Mm.
promote your event. So if you have enough influence, you can actually make this a line item in a package, and that is what will make people go to the higher price packages. So I'll say that. I love this. You are the hype girl. Promote the event. And how far in advance would you do this?
Oh, it just kind of depends. I want to look at when their ticket sales are. I want to
Ah,
make sure I'm promoting it during when their window is for their ticket
yes.
sales. I don't
Yes.
want to promote it after their ticket sales have closed,
Oh,
right?
so
So I want to be in line when they're promoting their event.
yeah, yep, yep. Really, really good. Okay, what else?
Now, the second thing that I think is really rocking is to make a video post
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. Now, some of these things you can also do on other social media platforms too. So it's not just LinkedIn. There are a few things that are specific to LinkedIn I'll talk about,
Mhm.
but you could do these things across
Everywhere.
any other social media platform.
Yes. And take
LinkedIn is my preferred. Yeah.
this.
The third thing you can do, and it's got to be for the right event, is change your LinkedIn banner to
Mm.
promote their event.
That's going above and beyond, and I love it. So, okay, Indiana Apartment Association is now my banner on my page. So how much are they appreciating that? Like you've done
Oh,
for
they
clients. Are they
love it.
going gaga for that?
Oh, they love it. And I only have it for a short window because I don't want to be my LinkedIn page all the time, but maybe I'll have it for a week or two.
Yes.
Now, super tip,
Okay.
take screenshots of these things because I'm going to tell
Yes.
you what to do with them
Yes.
afterward
Yes.
when we get
Yes.
to that point. So take
Okay. And
screenshots
I am
of
loving, I
everything.
already love the tip that you're going to give because I know what it is, and that's so good. Uh, Changing out your banner is not that difficult. Give me a heads up on where do you click first to do that on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, yeah. So first you have to make the banner and you can just make one on Canva for this. Just go use they have
Their
a,
logo and maybe their theme. I'm so now. Do you
oh
put?
yeah.
I'm so excited to be speaking
No,
at.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't say that. I'll email them first and I say, can you give me your logo? I'm going to change my LinkedIn banner for a week so I can promote your event. Right. So they're like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So I'm going to take whatever their theme is. I'm going to put the dates of their event,
Yes.
so it's not going to be, I'm excited I'm speaking at, I'm going to put their logo, the dates, their theme. And I might put a call to action, like click the link to join us or
Yes.
something like that.
Okay.
Now there's not a link. There's not a link on a banner. A banner does not have a hyperlink. So,
Tell them where to go. Okay.
it's fine. It's like learn more in their website. So
Beautiful.
that's what I'm going to do on that. And then the fourth thing I'm going to do before, there's a couple things that are kind of there before and during, but I'll talk about that next. But the fourth thing is any promotions that they do, I'm going to reshare their promotions. Am I going to reshare all of them? No, but I might reshare one or two and put a little bit of one or two sentences on that post.
They're loving you already. They're
Oh
loving you.
yeah, so by the time I get there, I've already been
Had me at
pre-promoting for
hello. You
them.
had me at banner. I mean, really, this is above and beyond. So, like you said, if you're speaking a lot, this might feel a little bit overwhelming. So, cherry pick. Which ones are you going to go all out on? Okay, it's 25 people as an internal meeting somewhere. You're not going to do that anyway because that company won't appreciate it the same way that a big association might. So, this is
True, with one exception.
okay.
That's 95% true. But if I'm speaking at Dell Industries, Dell Computers for 25 people, I'm going to do the same thing for Dell because I want the brand awareness that I'm speaking for Dell.
Okay, and they're cool with it because what they're doing is, public knowledge.
Yeah, it has to be the right client.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, and some people are dealing with things that are a little bit more sensitive and they might, you know.
absolutely. Absolutely. I always let them, if it's not a public event,
Yes.
if it's a private client, I'm going to get their permission first.
For sure. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. So have we covered everything that you're going to want to do leading up to?
Yes. Now there's a little bit of crossover in the
All right.
during. So I think that would be a good time to talk about the during.
All right.
Okay. So when I get to the event, and I'm going to get there early,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean before the event starts. I just mean that I'm going to be there early. Well, you should anyway, with the way flights are coming now. You want to be there early, but I like to be a participant of the event, meaning I want to be there. I want to talk to people. I want to see what's going on. So there's a couple things you can do here. One is if you want to try to negotiate and get a sponsor and you have a book, you can do a book signing. And so you will take pictures and promote the book signing on your LinkedIn and take pictures at the book signing. You can get an additional fee for them having a sponsor and doing a book signing. So that might be before and during, like it's a combo, right?
Okay.
And while I'm at either the book signing or I'm walking the halls,
Mm-hmm.
what I do is I let people know that I'm going to be speaking, what I'm speaking about, and where I'm at. And would they like to take a picture for social media to help promote the event?
Oh, nice.
And out of years of doing this, only one person's ever told me no.
You're schmoozing and you're helping the owners of the event, really create more buzz and come on, let's get this going. And when they have somebody walking the hallways doing that for them, I know they appreciate it because whatever the hashtag is of the event, I'm assuming you're using that every
Yes.
time and you're finding that out ahead of time so that you can include it. And somebody looks at that whole feed. Oh, look at that Jennifer Darling girl. She's all over the place at this event. She's
Yes.
the darling of this event. Ha ha, no pun intended.
Yes, actually, I'm using hashtags and I'm using the @ sign to make sure I'm tagging their event and I'm tagging whoever hired me. And I'm filling my room.
Yes. Because if you're doing a breakout session, for sure, you want to make sure that you're hyping up your event so that people want to come. You're selling it ahead of time.
That's right. I want my room to be standing room only.
Yes. And I bet you that works too.
Oh, it sure does. It
Mm.
does because they're considering who am I going to go see? Who's the
Yes.
person I'm going to go see?
Yeah.
So I did this at a really big event. You're familiar with it, Jay, but not everybody might be, called the PCMA Convening Leaders.
Huge. Yeah.
It is the one of the gold standard um, meetings, conferences for meeting planners and
Yes.
their suppliers. And it was in San Francisco. They had 5,000 meeting planners and suppliers. It was a huge event. So that's what I did. I showed up, I started taking pictures. Now I want to give you a super tip about that because you need to tag the people in the pictures. Well, how are you going to remember everyone? So
Yeah.
when I take a picture of somebody, I immediately look down and take a picture of their badge. So I have picture, badge, picture, badge, picture, badge. And
It
then when I
has
go to promote,
order or else
yes,
you'll get mixed up and tag people wrong. So
that's
gotta
right.
be in the right order. Very good. Oh, that's a super tip. I love that.
Yep, that's right. I'm also making sure to take a picture of anybody who's a sponsor because sometimes they might even not, they may not sponsor my book signing, but they may sponsor my talk.
Yeah.
And so Visit Houston may sponsor my talk through the event. And I want to make sure I'm taking pictures of Visit Houston person and their tag. And if they introduce me or whatever, take pictures of those people as well.
And on LinkedIn, it matters that you say something meaningful. Not check this out, but you're using 7 words or more. That's how your LinkedIn juice goes up, your SSI score, which we talk about on the first podcast that we did together. You're saying something that is intentional and meaningful and they'll really appreciate it when you take the time to do that at the other end. The client loves that.
Yes, the client loves it. The attendees love it.
Mm.
They're there, they're so excited. If it's a great conference, which usually they are,
Yes.
right? There's so much energy. Everybody's excited and want to be back in person anyway now. So, we're helping to build up some energy. We're helping to build up promotion. We're helping to build up buzz for that event.
Okay, so I want to walk back to I love the idea of getting someone to sponsor your book. And during your presentation, you're definitely going to want to make them the hero. And nowadays there's actually chairs that are built with a place for a book underneath them, conference chairs.
Mm.
So that's really cool. It's like reach under your seat and da 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 da, and let's make a big deal of this sponsor. My only inquiry is I'm wondering if it wouldn't be better, if there wouldn't be more hype around your book signing after your presentation.
Well, I'm not done yet, Jane.
Okay. Okay, keep going.
I'm not done, sister.
Okay.
Okay, so let me get to that. Okay, let me get to that. We're not quite there yet. I want to go into order. And I also want to say, this sounds like a lot, but it's not. If you're there walking around, just do the pictures, just do it in order like this. It actually becomes pretty easy. You just have to
Yes.
think about
Yes.
doing it. Okay, so the next thing I want you to do is I want you to look around and see what else is going on at the event. So I'm going to continue with PCMA here because what happened was pretty cool.
Okay.
I open up the floor plan, and what I see is that I am going to be speaking right next to Simon Sinek, right after he's done speaking.
Okay.
So imagine the floor plan has the main stage with Simon Sinek,
Yeah.
and then right next to it has my stage. So I make this huge orange circle around Simon Sinek stage and a huge orange circle around Jennifer Darling stage. And I'm going to post that on LinkedIn. Isn't this cool? Simon Sinek is speaking right before me. I wonder if he'll come to my presentation, right? So, and you post that on LinkedIn and you get to tag Simon Sinek because he was a real part of the conversation. You don't just tag him because he's at the event, but he was a real part of something meaningful, as you
Yes.
said.
Beautiful.
So that makes for a fun post. What's going on around here? Now, at the same particular, I love talking about this one because there's so many remarkable things that happened at this one, is that they had me seated for 200 people.
Okay.
Those were the chairs. I had 497.
Okay, how the heck did that work? Did they have to just bring in a ton of chairs and
There were people on the floor, people standing, people laying down. There were people everywhere for my presentation. You see, I had done all of these things leading up to it, which probably helped fill that room. They
Yes.
were coming to see my presentation,
Yes.
right? Okay, so what happened at the end of the presentation was I brought 200 books because I was seated for 200 people. So I brought 200 free books and I gave them out. I knew I was going to have hands. So I got the sponsors. I got both book signing sponsors and the sponsor of the talk to come up on stage with me. And we literally gave out 200 books. I had a mad rush to the front. I had to give one of the attendees who was one of my super fans who'd been following me around my phone and say, get pictures of this.
Yes.
So I have all these pictures of me being rushed for these books.
Goodness.
That makes for an awesome social media post.
That is amazing. And you could have asked them do a little bit of video and still photos, right? And that could have gone into lots of different places. How cool is that? Okay, so you say you're giving away 200 books, but the sponsor actually sponsored the 200 books. Is that right?
In this case, no, they did not. I intentionally, it was, I'm at a meeting planner event.
You're saying I'm gonna give these books away because
yeah, I want these meeting planners walking out with my book.
These are my
exactly. And I did get bookings immediately. Like, I'm not kidding, on the stage, people coming to get the book. I had people on my stage saying, can I book you?
Oh, wow. Okay, so clearly, I don't even know how they managed it with fire regulations and such, but clearly 200 people was not enough. You had massive standing room only. And you know what happens is out in the hallway, people peek in the door and they're like, what the heck is going on in here?
We had an innovative, it was an innovation conference. So we did not have a closed room session. It was an open, I can't even tell you how, you have to look at the floor plan. It was an open session.
Wow. Okay.
So literally everyone walking by could see this massive crowd of people at
that is really cool.
And I ended up getting an award for my speaking presentation and a special contract with the PCMA. Now, unfortunately, this all happened in January and then everything went out in the door in March, but I actually got a special contract with them that guaranteed me a minimum rate speaking at any PCMA chapters across the country.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So much gold in here. Whoa. Okay. So have we covered the before and the during?
No.
Okay. What else you got for during?
Okay. So here's the during. I want you to make sure you get your LinkedIn QR code and I want you to put it on the screen of your presentation.
I did not realize, so you're giving me an aha right now. So I've been talking to my clients about making sure you have a QR code. But I did not realize that LinkedIn could give you one. What's your first step for getting that on LinkedIn?
It's on your mobile app.
Okay.
So you're going to go to your LinkedIn mobile app in the search button, put your finger, there's nothing in the search, put your finger in it and a new little box, a QR code box pops up. click on the QR code box and automatically you have your LinkedIn QR code. Take a screenshot of it,
Right.
email it to yourself, and then I put that puppy on my LinkedIn, on my PowerPoint presentation and any other marketing that you can.
Okay.
And then I pair it with a prize giveaway.
Right. Okay. So the QR code leads them to what? Is it going to
Mm,
connect them with you on
mhm.
LinkedIn first, and
Yes.
then there's something else that comes later?
Yes. So what I do, here's the strategy behind this and what I do is
Okay.
I want them to connect with me on LinkedIn and I want them to let me know that they met me at the Indiana Apartment Association, say
Okay.
for example.
Gotcha.
And the reason I want that is because now I have in my messenger a history box of all the people I met at the Indiana Apartment Association.
Oh my
I
God.
don't want them to just look at my LinkedIn profile. I want them to connect with me. And I say, if you connect with me, I'm going to give away to one person my Rock Your Sales Results online training. So
Right.
I can almost guarantee that they're going to connect with me because they all want that training after they've been to this, awesome talk.
Right. And let me just say this for people who, if you're collecting names and email addresses, you may do this a little bit differently, but Jennifer does all her business
Oh,
on
but
LinkedIn.
I still get their email address
Okay, how do you do that?
because I follow up with them and I say, thank you so much for connecting. Here is my lead magnet.
Hmm.
So for talking about LinkedIn, it's the ultimate LinkedIn profile checklist. And I'm talking about sales. Now it's a special training called Get a Plethora of Prospects. Either way, people want that. So now I follow up with everyone. And so I don't want them just on LinkedIn. I want them both, my
Okay.
LinkedIn and email. So now I've given them another training that I have in the bag, and I get their email, and now they're on my list. Now they're LinkedIn and email.
Say, and we can put a link to this in your show notes because I think people might want it. Say the name of your primary lead magnet again.
UltimateProfileChecklist.com.
Okay, ultimateprofilechecklist.com. You're going to want that because you're going to want to make sure that your profile is doing what you need it to do. I love that you're getting both the LinkedIn connection, and I do find lots of business on LinkedIn. Clearly, that's where you do probably the majority of your business, right? And I love that you're also taking it the step further. Don't stop there. Take it the step further and ask them, would you like my lead magnet, whatever that might be? And yours are such good titles that anybody would be silly not to grab them.
Yes, and when they get it and when they react with me or interact with me on LinkedIn, now LinkedIn says, oh, this is a new prospect or this is a new person contact. Let me share more of Jennifer's work in the link in LinkedIn with this person. Now, what I specifically do is I go back and I look at the people who've liked my post, and I'm going to make sure I'm connecting with meeting planners.
Nice.
So the audience is great, but I also want to get connected with the meeting planners who happen to be in that room.
Okay, so you're in your presentation, you've put your QR code up on the screen, and then the steps we've talked about what will come after that. Is there anything else during that you do?
The only other thing there's two simple things I do is I take a picture. I try to take a picture of myself on stage with my audience. So I have that selfie picture.
Right.
And it worked great when I had, the 500 audience and the 200 seats.
Yes.
And then also I'll take a picture of any other speakers who I really love, who I feel connected with. So there was a speaker from Visit Detroit at this in particular conference. And so she's in, the meetings industry. So, and I loved her presentation, and I'm originally from Michigan. So all these things make sense. So I tagged her, and what I don't realize is she's actually brand new to that position. So what happens is this post gets thousands of views and all kinds of likes because it's in her news feed. And I'll go open up the likes, and it's just meeting planner after meeting planner after meeting planner in that post. That was a smart move to promote another speaker.
So promote other speakers. And this is where doing the parachute idea, where you fly in, do your thing, and then leave, may not be serving you, because when you actually know what's going on at the conference, when you can tag other speakers, like I loved not tagging Simon Sinek in a way that was, I don't know what the
Promotional. It's just promotional, right? It's still promotional, but this is
it
relevant.
wasn't like, hey, everybody, look at me. I'm going to tag this guy to get more. It was actually meaningful. And I would have loved, like, here's his room and here's my room. And look, all you have to do is come out the door and turn right, and you're going to be in my thing. But you had 500 people in a 200 people room. But that's meaningful. So tagging other speakers is, it's just good business anyway, and being connected with other people who are out there sharing the platform with you is a beautiful thing.
Yes. Now, there's one more piece of the during, which is in a virtual speaking engagement, because we're all doing a lot of virtual speaking engagements, take a screenshot, but make sure you ask the audience first. I don't want to get anybody in an ugly position. I want them to all look like $1 million, right? So I say, I'd like to take a picture to share on social media. So everybody smile. I'm hitting print screen, and I hit print screen. Then I go put it on the back end of my PowerPoint, so I know where I put it.
I love it.
And then I post that one and tag people.
And if you do kind of fun things during your presentation, have them doing something fun so that people can see, oh, there they all doing the chicken dance or whatever it is. I think that's really a great idea. Okay, love it. So now let's talk about when you're hopping on the plane to go home, you're starting your after process. And again, these things might seem like a lot, but I'm sure that these become just part of your, it becomes very organic after a while to just kind of do the checklist of things. And it's not that hard, I don't think.
Yeah. And, the thing is, the thing that's probably going to take the most time, which you could have a virtual assistant help you do this piece, is follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Because so often, 90% of the sales are lost in follow up because we're not following up, right?
Yes.
So if you're speaking on a stage where you get this works for you and you get thousands of people connecting with you on LinkedIn, then get a virtual assistant to sign into your account, which you're not supposed to do, by the way. It's against the LinkedIn rules.
We're not saying here.
No, and don't get one out of the country.
Yes.
Make sure it's in the country you're in, because that's how you'll probably get flagged. But get somebody local to go in for you and send them the link with your lead magnet, because that's really important. We don't want to only have LinkedIn followers. We want you to grow your LinkedIn email list or your email list.
Yes.
That's yours, right? So that's one thing I do after is I send my lead magnet.
Follow up.
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to publish a newsletter on my topic, or you could make a post, but the newsletter is working like gangbusters. I posted one newsletter and had 1,000 subscribers.
So what's it got to do with the event?
The newsletter is continuation of the topic. So first off, let me just say something about newsletter. Nobody wants a newsletter.
Okay.
That I wish they didn't call it a newsletter, because a newsletter means you're going to talk all about yourself.
Right.
I don't ever do that. Even my emails are not a newsletter. They're more content, more education, more information. So when you're publishing a newsletter, that's what it's called in LinkedIn. But what I mean is you're going to extend your topic.
Okay. Extend your topic. Okay. And can everybody do a newsletter nowadays?
No, you need to be on creator mode to do a newsletter.
Okay. And if you want to get onto creator mode, what do you have to do?
Right on your profile, about a few inches below your headline, you'll see where you have a dashboard, and it'll say turn creator mode on or off. And so you'll turn creator mode on, and then you'll have access to you won't have access to LinkedIn Live. You still need to apply for it, but you'll have access to that, access to LinkedIn audio, and access to LinkedIn newsletters.
Okay. So creator mode on, and then you're going to extend your topic by doing a newsletter to your whole list that continues what they were learning in the classroom.
Exactly. So I'm hoping to get them both subscribed on my email and my LinkedIn, because having been in sales for a very long time, I know the numbers. and when you call people on the phone, it's about a 12% pickup rate, or somebody getting through the decision maker is about 12%. When you send out an email is about 20% open. When you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, it's about 30% open. So if I add those up, I can get through to a person with a much greater success response than if I do any one of those things alone.
Okay, very good. Just as a small, because we're a little tight on time here, small little side rabbit hole. Uh, LinkedIn Live, yes or no? Are people getting any traction from doing the weekly videos on LinkedIn?
I'm not hearing of many people getting too much traffic. There are strategic reasons why you would do it. But if you are working really hard to get LinkedIn Live, and you're upset that you haven't, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Organic video on LinkedIn works great too.
Okay, good. Okay, so afterwards, we're going to number one, follow up. That is the most important thing of any sales cycle. I mean, if you've got a stack of business cards that you have done nothing with, or if you've got a bunch of people on LinkedIn who have connected with you and you have no process after that, you have a problem. Fix it, follow up. That is super, super, super important. Then extend the learning with a newsletter on that topic. What else for the after have you got?
So we have two more things and then we'll wrap up, because I know people's minds are probably blown by now with what we talked about so far.
Careful.
Okay, so I like to say in my contract and have a conversation that if you absolutely loved working with me, you'll write me an endorsement on LinkedIn.
Endorsement, beautiful.
And that is a testimonial, just called endorsement on LinkedIn. So you need to follow up and get your endorsement. You're probably going to need to write it for them because they're so busy. So just take what they tell you, all the great things that they tell you, and then write it for them and just submit it to them, and they'll copy and paste and it'll be there.
Beautiful.
One more thing.
Yep.
Take all of this stuff that you've done and take screenshots of it.
This is my favorite tip. Not miss this one.
And you are going to put them in a PowerPoint, and you're going to send a recap to your meeting planner with all of the social media buzz that you made for their event. You can have a virtual assistant go through. You've tagged all the posts, so you can have a VA go through and screenshot all of those posts.
Do you mind if we show, and we could just do that part of the slides, maybe a PDF of that out on the show notes?
Oh, sure. Yeah, if you want to do a PDF of the recap for the BMW supplier conference, absolutely.
I love how you showed the recap. And so you've got a beautiful title page for it. And then I scroll down and I see you tagging a bunch of different people and some meaningful comments, and really showing them all of the social media juice that you got for them. That is so smart, Jennifer. Such a good idea.
They loved it. And then what I did was I also sent a link. So this one was through a bureau. So I emailed the bureau first and I said, I put together this recap. Please, I'm happy to send it to you to send to the client. And she said, no, go ahead and send to the client and copy me.
Yeah.
So I did the recap, but I also sent a little video message to both of them. Thank you so much for booking me. Thank you so much for booking me. And as a thank you, here's a link to get my free LinkedIn training. And do you know that the client actually took the LinkedIn training?
That is,
I thought that was so cool.
so above and beyond. How long would it take to put together the recap?
Well, I had my assistant do it, so I didn't really spend any time. It didn't take me any time to do it.
I love that even more. It's a good looking thing, and then there's a real great picture of Jennifer at the end of it. Great conference, everybody. Good going, team. And I just think that is a terrific way to end your relationship at this point with them. You know, there's still more things that you're going to do with them, but what a wonderful, wonderful way to close out this chapter of your relationship. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. All right. So we're going to close out this podcast. If you would like to get more information about Jennifer Darling, tell everybody where to go again.
Yes, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Look for Jennifer Darling Speaks, not just Jennifer Darling, that's someone else. Jennifer Darling Speaks.
Okay.
You can also download that Ultimate LinkedIn Profile Checklist, and you'll hear more from me, and you'll get a lot more training from me on that as well. Make sure that when you connect with me, you say that you heard it on Jane Atkinson's Wealthy Speakers. Say that in the messenger, and I will send you a bonus training as well.
Love it. Thank you so much, Jennifer. As usual, you've blown our doors off. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing what you do for our school. We love having you as one of our masters. And for those of you listening in, I bet you got a good earful today, and I hope that you will let us know that you've appreciated this. With that, we're going to say, see you soon, Wealthy Speakers. Bye for now, everyone.